welcome and thank you for joining us here today. I'm Rob May and I'm the MD here at Ramsac, and I'm also the UK Ambassador for Cybersecurity with the IOD, and I sit on the advisory board of the Cyber Resilience Centre. This is the most exciting launch from Ramsac in 10 years. It's been 2+ years in the making, and I'm delighted to share it with you this morning. So why is this so important? Well, if you've heard me speak before, you'll know that I'm passionate about cybersecurity and ensuring that our businesses and our lives are as cyber resilient as they possibly can be. We're constantly under attack and the numbers continue to worsen. According to Checkpoint, global cyber attacks increased by a further 38% in the last 12 months. By Q4 of 2022, they reported that there was an average of 1,168 attacks on every single organisation, every single week across the entire globe. The World Economic Forum recently made the statement that 95% of all cybersecurity incidents that occur are due to human error. And it's for that reason that we all invest in training and employee awareness. It's why we invest in systems and products that protect our money, protect our organisations, and protect the data that we have a legal requirement to safeguard. The fact remains that cyber criminals are both cunning and sophisticated, and they have a lot to gain by being so. I wonder if you can spot the difference here. When you're busy and you get this in an email, can you spot the difference? Can your staff? Which one's correct? In each case, it's the first one. The second is a fake link from a cyber criminal. And if you look carefully, the A in each of the second web addresses is from a Cyrillic alphabet. You couldn't type that into your web browser, but on a cursory glance, it doesn't look suspicious, does it? Unfortunately, it is, and it's probably taking you to a cloned website or some other form of cyber attack. The fact that you're here today, or perhaps watching a recording of this event, demonstrates that you take this seriously. Many of you have already gained one of the Ramsac cyber resilience levels, the bronze, silver and gold certified standards. You're investing in the products and the services that we recommend and specialise in. And I know that I've personally spoken for many of you as part of your in-house cybersecurity training. But that's not enough. And we know from all of our research that organisations both need and want help to do even more. And that's why we've developed Secure Plus from Ramsac, our new platform and cybersecurity service. It's brilliant. And I'm now going to hand over to my colleague, Charlie Thompson, to take you through it in more detail.
Thank you very much, Rob. And this is super exciting. I'm delighted to be sharing Secure Plus with you all today. So let's talk about what Secure Plus is. Well, Secure Plus is the watchful eye over your IT estate. It's a proactive cybersecurity monitoring service designed to hunt for signs of malicious activity or a potential cyber breach in your organization. Ramsac's cybersecurity team then act upon these threats and take the necessary action to safeguard your systems and data. This is about us getting ahead of the game, spotting potential breaches as soon as they happen, and reacting quicker than the threat actors to safeguard your organization's data. I want to put Secure Plus into a bit of context for you. So, as Rob's already said, human error and compromised accounts through phishing attempts make up the vast majority of breaches that we see here at Ramsac for our clients. And unfortunately, often it's already too late when our clients detect the breach. The first indication might be something like spam emails going out to your customers, or spotting a mailbox rule, which is forwarding emails out of your organization. The challenge is that everyday actions by your employees across your IT estate will generate potentially millions of events or bits of information. This could be things like sign-in attempts, file access, email rule creations, permission changes, new accounts, and much, much more. And all of those generate events. A medium-sized organization, about 100 people, might produce somewhere between 50 to 100 million events every month. And just a handful of those could be malicious. So how do you even spot those? How do you find them? And it's about having the right combination of tools, but even more importantly, the necessary skills to know what to do with those alerts. And this is where Secure Plus comes in. So what does Secure Plus comprise of? Well, all of that event data that I just talked about gets ingested into Secure Plus. This could be logs from your Microsoft 365 environment, from your Azure or on-prem Active Directory, from servers, from your firewall, from your antivirus. Our systems then filter out the key events for further investigation, and we maybe get 100 to 150 of those for a typical medium-sized business. And our cybersecurity team then manually review these and determine whether they're malicious or not. They take action, perhaps locking out an account and stopping a breach in its tracks. And we then come back with recommendations to try and prevent that incident from happening again. And across all of this, we perform threat intelligence to continuously tune, update, and create monitors to allow us to detect new threats or as those threats evolve. Let's have a look about the technology that sits behind Secure Plus. So the core technology we use is a product called Microsoft Sentinel. And this is a security information event management system, or SIEM system, from Microsoft, which uses machine learning and advanced AI to identify suspicious events or behaviors that deviate from the norm. And we can ingest all sorts of data into it. If it generates logs, we can most likely ingest them into Sentinel. So with our configuration, Sentinel will highlight the key events for us to investigate, and Sentinel also does a bit of automated response, which I'll touch on shortly. An investigation and response is performed by the ramsac cybersecurity team, which is an in-house team of cybersecurity professionals who will then assess what action is needed to take when suspicious events are highlighted. Secure Plus is monitoring and response that runs 24/7, ingesting event data and generating alerts. And during business hours, incidents raised will first be investigated by our cybersecurity team before any action is taken. For out of hours and weekends, what we can do is we can configure automated processes which then respond to those alerts and take action to safeguard your organization without the need to wake up key client contacts in the middle of the night. So, for example, for certain alerts, you might agree that we automatically lock out a suspected compromised account. An investigation and cleanup would then be dealt with the next day. And with 24/7 support options, we can also work with you to reactivate accounts overnight as required. I'm sure some of our Total IT clients are wondering what the difference is between Total IT monitoring and Secure Plus monitoring. And for those of you who don't know, who maybe aren't a client with us, Total IT is our managed IT support service. So when we talk about Total IT monitoring, here we think about health, availability of your network and servers, and about us trying to minimize the impact of service outages. We look for signs of an outage or an outage in the making and get on the front foot to minimize customer impact. Now, Secure Plus is the same principles as Total IT monitoring, about us getting ahead of the game, but it's more focused on preventing or minimizing the impact of cyber breaches and protecting your organization from cyber threats. When we detect a suspected breach, we take action to deal with the threat there and then, so it doesn't have time to propagate and cause damage to your organization. So what can Secure Plus detect? And the answer to that question is a lot. We have hundreds of monitors configured in Sentinel. Microsoft are releasing more every month, and we also create our own based on our own experiences. So it's very powerful. But let's just have a look at a few examples here. So for login activity, we can detect things such as brute force login attempts on an account, which is where a threat actor will try multiple common passwords in the hope that one of them will work. Atypical travel, such as someone logging in from Spain, someone logging in from the UK, and then 10 minutes later logging in from Spain, suggesting an account breach, and attempted logins to disabled accounts, perhaps indicating a past employee is trying to access systems again. For passwords, some of the things our monitoring will detect include multiple password resets in a short amount of time, or if a user account has a password that maybe doesn't meet your agreed password policy. When it comes to accounts and permissions, here we have a real opportunity to customize monitors according to your organization's most critical data. So for example, we might want to alert on any permission changes to a VIP or a sensitive mailbox, or if you have a SharePoint folder containing sensitive employee or customer data. And we'll also investigate whenever a new global admin account is created. Understanding where your data is being shared externally is also critically important. So we will detect if data is being exfiltrated in bulk via USB or SharePoint. Something like this could indicate a breach, with a threat actor copying data to later hold to ransom, or even an insider threat with an employee copying data out of your organization. Detecting new external mail rules is also vital, as these are commonly used to send phishing spam if an account is compromised, or might even be an employee forwarding their company mail to a personal account. And finally, with multi-factor authentication, this is one of the most critical defenses against cyber breaches, typically lowering the chance of a breach by around 95% when this is implemented. So we can detect if a user has denied a request, which could indicate an attempt of a breach, or if there are any gaps in your organization's defenses due to MFA being disabled for certain user accounts, or if a change is made to an MFA conditional access policy, we can pick those up as well. Next, I want to show you an example of Secure Plus in action. So in this scenario, our security monitoring detects a successful login to Alex's account from a location in Europe, and this is despite him already being signed in from the UK. So this generates a Severity 1 alert, which goes straight to our cybersecurity team, who immediately investigate the incident. And through interaction with Alex and our primary contact, we quickly established that this is an illegitimate login, and therefore we lock out Alex's account, end all of his sessions, and stop the breach in its tracks. We then reset Alex's passwords, we ensure MFA is enabled, and we get Alex back into his account so he can continue working. Our cybersecurity team then investigate the breach, identify how it happened, and what protections should be in place to then prevent reoccurrence. So, for example, was MFA missing on Alex's account? Were the credentials leaked on the dark web? And so Alex now needs to make sure that he resets any passwords where he's reused that password. Or is more training on spotting phishing emails required? Let's go through the same scenario, but see how Secure Plus responds overnight. So again, our security monitoring detects a successful login to Alex's account from a location in Europe, but at 10 p.m. And this is him having been logged into the UK today. So Secure Plus automatically now locks out the account and clears sessions, stopping any potential breach in its tracks. An email is automatically generated to Alex's line manager and our primary contact to explain what has been done. And a Severity 1 ticket is automatically generated for our cybersecurity team to investigate the account compromise the first thing the next day. The threat is then resolved by our cybersecurity team, and the compromised account is reopened. So this might also have been legit. Like Alex might have traveled to Spain for business. And with our 24/7 support options, we can then reopen that account overnight if required. And if you have frequent travelers or a colleague who needs to work from abroad, don't worry, we can work with you to make sure that they aren't affected unnecessarily by the automated response. There's a few prerequisites for Secure Plus, but luckily only a few, and these are mainly around Microsoft licenses. So the following Microsoft licenses are required for your key users, which then allows Sentinel to be activated across your Microsoft tenant. So these are Microsoft Business Premium, or Microsoft 365 E3 or E5, or the combination of Office 365 E3 and EMNS E3 and E5. And that essentially activates Sentinel for your tenant. But it doesn't mean that you'll be able to use Sentinel out of the box, as it requires a lot of setup and configuration, and then consistent tuning. It also needs someone to then respond to those alerts and know what to do, and continuously develop and improve monitors to catch emerging threats and trends. There's some additional benefits to Secure Plus, not just the cybersecurity monitoring, and we believe these are really important for all-round security. So each month, you'll get a comprehensive report of your Secure Plus service. We call out significant events and then recommendations off the back of those to improve your security. We run weekly vulnerability scans against your external facing infrastructure to look for vulnerabilities or gaps in your security. And as a Secure Plus customer, you'll get priority status for emergency or critical patches that get announced. And finally, every quarter, we'll run an audit of critical accounts, mailboxes, and other services to check that privileges are as expected across your estate. And my last slide here. So what makes Secure Plus different from all the other cybersecurity services out there? Well, first, Secure Plus focuses on user behaviors. It's looking for deviations from the norm. It specializes in Microsoft 365 and Azure AD events and behaviors, and activity across your servers and Active Directory. And this is where we see the vast majority of breaches for our customers. The service is run by our dedicated in-house cybersecurity team. We don't outsource any of the analysis or management of cybersecurity incidents, and knowing what to do when we suspect something is suspicious is the most important thing here. And if you're already a customer with us, well, ramsac already have the necessary knowledge of and access to your IT systems to be able to respond to suspected cyber breaches or attacks a lot quicker than a third party would be able to. So third-party services would have to mediate through a primary contact who would then ultimately have to come to us, which creates a delay in the response there. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you're now as excited as I am about the launch of Secure Plus, and I'll hand back to Rob.
Thank you, Charlie. That was fantastic. So what are the next steps? Secure Plus can be added to any existing service agreement, and clients simply need to talk to their ramsac relationship manager, who will discuss the setup and provide costings. If you're not yet a ramsac client, just let us know and we'll gladly start you on your Secure Plus journey. We're very grateful that you've joined us today. Ramsac is obviously known in the industry as the secure choice, but now let us help you help your organization not just to be secure, but to be Secure Plus. We look forward to hearing from you.